Hello everyone, welcome back to our My 2015 series with our elf here. We finished building our rig and today we're going to be doing some skin weights. Now, something you want to know about skin weights and the way they work is that after we skinned our model to this rigging system, is that Maya went in and said, okay, based on each joint location, it's going to have influence over geometry around it. So you have a 0 to 1 relationship for that geometry here. Now, that doesn't mean that this geometry right in this region is strictly associated to this one joint. It means that some percentage from 1 to 100 is given to this joint. The closer it gets to it, the more it gets. But it does have a percentage of influence between the other joints. So sometimes you'll have joints like this arm over here that's influencing the face over here, which you don't want to have happen. When I have this arm here rotate, I don't want the face to distort. So I'm going to show you what I'm talking about here. So if I wiggle this up here, you can see that the ear and the face start to distort as I move it around. Also, as this goes down, you can see like that the back is kind of caving in a little bit, which I also don't want to have happen. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to keyframe some of these controls so that I can let's see here, so that I can get some of that deformation to happen, so I can fix it with my weight tool. So I just keyframe this one control here. I'm going to animate it going down to the hip so I can kind of fix that. Okay. Like so, right? Hit S. Okay. Also, what I need to do is keyframe the rotation of this guy a little bit. So I'm going to, again, keyframe. But before I do that, if you look over here, I have constraint on the translates. If I keyframe it now, you'll see that they'll turn, well, they would turn green. If I did I think that I went and locked these before I went and did the video. You probably have them looking probably more like something like this. They're blue. Now, if I keyframe them now, you'll see they'll turn green, which means they just broke the constraint, and the translate constraint won't work anymore. So we want to guard our constraints. So what we'll do is we'll select the channel that's constrained, and hold down the right mouse button and go to lock selected. You want to make sure you do that to both sides. Okay, so now I can go down here and I can rotate it now. So I'll start out right here. I'll just keyframe that channel, and then when it's down to frame 10, I'm going to rotate it. S. Okay, so there we're doing good. Okay, next thing I want to do is also keyframe this pull vector so that it's, as the parent moves it down, it doesn't start pointing in a weird direction. Like you see how it's downside the hip. I don't want it over there. I want it to be behind the elbow. Okay, so as it goes down, that's good. Deal with that. Alright, so what I want to deal with it now is I want that, how it's collapsing the chest in here, I don't want that to happen. So I'm going to select the influence from this joint, and I'm assuming that as this comes in, it's pushing the chest cavity in. So I'm going to select my base mesh, I'm going to select the skin weight tool, and as it goes in like that, I need to remove the weight. So let's go ahead and hold down right mouse button on the top of this joint, select influence. Now I need to remove the weight in here. So I'm going to open up our skin weight tool, and inside of our skin weight tool, let me just kind of go over this kind of quickly with you guys. We have all our joints here, so you could select influence this way. Also, they have select geometry, replace, add, or smooth. So we can take away value, we can add value, or we can smooth it. I never really scale value, to be honest with you. Down below here we have opacity, which means it's kind of like it works in conjunction with this value. Just kind of, I guess, kind of helps you feather the the value. But value is 0 to 1, how much influence we're going to be giving it. So if I want to take influence away, I put a 0 value. So I'm just going to say I want any influence in this area right here. Okay, I'm just going to chop off all the influence in this area. Kind of make sure the and up here in the back, I'm going to go ahead and take some of this away as well. Okay, let's see what it looks like now. So as it goes in, now it's not pushing the back in so much, right? Same thing on this side, not pushing the back in. Okay, that's good. But it is causing like a little bit of a crumple in here, where it kind of goes in a little too sharply. So I might want to smooth this out just a little bit. So I can hold down Shift and that'll activate my smooth version, or I can just click smooth over here and just kind of smooth it out just a little bit so that it isn't such a dramatic fall off from where it was at. Alright, here we go. Alright, so let's see now. Okay, that looks better. I can deal with that. I'm not going to do it to both sides. I'm going to eventually mirror the weights over. So I'm just going to do one side at a time for now. Okay, so I'm done with the arm. I don't really need that anymore, but I'm going to leave it on there anyways, just because it gives me this little deformation on the ear, which will help me. Also, I'm going to work the head out now as well. So on frame 1, I'm going to keyframe. On frame 10, I'm going to have it look one direction. I'm hoping the face gets distorted, which you can see that it's distorting right in here. That's good. That doesn't sound good, but you know, this will help me fix it. So I'm going to go to 20. I'm going to have it go the other way. So let's go that way. Okay. That might be a little bit far. I don't think actually that far. Okay, that's good. So here we go. So something else I think I might have skipped over and forgot to explain, which is that the skin weight tool, if you go down a little further here, you see it says gradient. The gradient is black is no influence, white is absolute influence, and then gray is everywhere in between. They have this color ramp as well that you can use that kind of does something very similar. That is red for absolute influence and blue for no influence, and then they have like this color gradient that helps you kind of depict where you are in between there. I feel like that's a little bit too much visual information, especially for someone new, so I usually don't ever use this. So I'm going to stick to black and white for now. Anyways, alright, so we're going to go select here. Let's select the root joint, and we're going to isolate these guys. They'll help me with the weighting process. Okay, so I've been getting back into my skin weights tool. Oh, sorry. Select the geometry, then into the skin weights tool. Otherwise, you won't have any joints up here. If you hold down B, you can kind of adjust the size of your brush. I'm going to keep mine fairly big. I'm going to right mouse button on top of this joint up here and get select influence. Okay, and I want it to have a replace. I'm going to do opacity of 1, value of 1, because I want this one joint up here to control all of my head. Now if I had eye rigs and lips and stuff like that, this would be different. But since I only have one joint that I'm wanting to control the rotation of my head, this is something that is acceptable. Alright, so I'm just going to go ahead and oh, I'm sorry, value needs to be set to 1. I had it at 0. It keeps going back down to, oh, it's because max and min has been set to 0. So this has to be 0 and this has to be 1. Alright, there we go. Now I can bring this back up. There we are. Now, it's really easy to drop in a ton of weight on the big open areas, but some of the finer areas are a little bit harder to get. That's the reason why we added that animation in there. Just going to go ahead and just scrub all this weight in here real fast. Okay. Okay. Around the bottom of the chin. Oops, I didn't want to do any over there. Some other problem areas are underneath the eyelids, inside the nose, the lips, behind the ears, anywhere it's hard to get this brush tool into. Is the areas that you'll find you've missed influence. So when we go and move it around, you'll start to see it acts kind of erratically, which you know, we can fix. It's just, you know, something to be aware of. sure you get up in that nose best you can. Same thing inside the mouth. Okay, I think I did a pretty good job. Let's go ahead and see if I missed anything. So this sometimes happens. This is the mouthpiece that's sticking through. And I'll just, since it's distorted now, I can just go ahead and paint it and hope it'll all pop back in. Okay. Same thing on the other side looks like. There we go. Let's test back over here. Alright, so that looks good. Alright, looking good, guys. So I'm going to go to smooth. Now I'm going to smooth this area here out so that where it goes down to the neck, that influence at the top is distributed down as well, so it's not just a sharp turn. Hopefully this will work good here. So let's go ahead and test that. Alright, so you can see how the geometry is curving with it. It's not just being rigid. Right. Maybe a little bit of smoothing here looks like it might be necessary. Okay, there we go. Alright, so I'm happy with that. Okay, I'll call that good. Alright, so moving on to the next appendage. Close this out, unisolate this. We're going to move down to the legs. Actually, before we even go to the legs, let's deal with the root here. This is an interesting one. So I'm going to go ahead and right mouse button, select influence. You see how if there's this influence going on right here, that's from the root. And if you grab the hips here and move it back side to side, see how it's moving that area? That's something we don't want to have happen. So let's just go ahead and key that, and we'll do a little hip sway action and see how that goes. Again, I apologize. I'm sure you guys can hear the kids in the background just giggling up the storm. You know, it's the weekend, so the kids play. Anyways, alright, moving on. I want to remove the influence here, so I need to select my face mesh again, go to my skin weight tool, and I need to remove all this. So I'm going to, I can either go replace with a 0 value, or I can do a flood with 0 value. Let's see about that. Look at that. So now all the influence from our hip has been removed. So let's go ahead and test it now. So as we go left and right, now it's been removed. And that weight was redistributed to the joints around it, which it looks good now, right? Good. Okay, cool. Let's go ahead and take a look at the legs now. So we're going to test some extremes on this. So I'm going to start on frame 1. We're going to go ahead and move this up and out. And I'm going to have, let's do a foot roll at, let's say, so the heel's all the way up. Okay. Keyframe that. And then we'll bring it back down. Okay, and then on frame 35, let's do 10 here. It's on its toe. And we'll move it back. And you can tell it's like it's buckling like that, and that's just because the pull vector is now on the other side of the hip, which is causing the knee to flip. So that's fine. We can fix that. We just gotta move the pull vector. So go to S. Anytime your pull vector starts to get in a danger zone where it's crossing, like right there, um, just move it forward. Something like that. So it looks like we can move this back in there. Alright, so let's test that out. Okay, so we're going this way. Looks okay. Might even get the foot up a little higher, see if it causes any issues like that. Looks okay. I don't know if there's anything wrong with that. Okay, that's alright. This area right here was crumpling. We can fix a little bit of that, so let's go ahead and take care of that part. Let's isolate our joint and our base mesh and jump into our skin weight tool. Let's select influence from up here. So what's happening is like the influence from up here is causing this area over here to crumple. So I'm gonna put the value at 0 again, opacity at 1. I'm just gonna remove the weight in this calf region. Okay. And I don't want to remove it all the way, so I'm actually going to be painting some back into it because otherwise it'll get this crumpling here. So I need to get like some influence back into it. I just need to be a little bit more of a more even distribution. Okay, so let's hold down Shift and just click in some in here. Okay, that looks a lot better. We can't get it perfect, I'm not going to lie, because the joint's trying to bend. It's going to bring this geometry in. It's just the way that the joint systems are set up to work. There's a system inside of mine called the muscle system, which will create deformers in here that will stop this from crumpling on itself. But we'll have to deal with that in a different lesson because the muscle system is just, it takes our existing skeleton and changes it to a pill muscle system kind of network, which I'll probably do at a later lesson, but not in this one. Alright, so moving forward, let's see here. The legs are good. Alright, so I'm happy with that. We could always, like, if we find something that's not working right, we could always fix it down the line. Okay. Let's go ahead and, since we have a little bit of time, let's also address the fingers here. So I have to isolate for a moment. Let's go ahead and we'll delete the keyframes for this hand here, and we'll just do we'll do a fist here. So it'll be keyframe that. Go up to frame 5. Let's go ahead and go to 10. Okay, so yeah, it looks like the hand is crumpling a little bit. I'm just going to change my joint radiuses all down to 0.1. We're going to do them all at the same time. That'd be nice. Yeah, there we go. I'll just make the... Oh, you know what? It's not crumpling. That is the end of my cutoff sleeves here. So let's go ahead and... I can see what's going on. We'll just go ahead and knock all these joints radiuses down to 0.1 so I can see what's going on a little bit better. Okay, so let's see here. It actually looks pretty good. I don't really think that needs to be reweighted. Okay, good enough. Okay, so on a very simple level, that takes care of that. We'll go ahead and save again. Let's go ahead and save the scene. Sometimes I actually mirror in the wrong direction. It just kind of breaks things. So I'm going to mirror the skin weights at this point, since this is good enough for now. I'm going to go to skin, mirror skin weights. I'm going to go ahead and open the submenu here. Now, if you're ever confused as far as like which direction you're going, you can always create a tester. I mean, you can always go sphere. Sorry, let's go turn off interactive creation, and we'll just create ourselves a cube. That's fine. Why does this ask me to drive this on here? Okay, whatever. Let's just delete that. I want to create at the origin. Okay, there we go. So this is at the origin. So now if you are curious, I mean, you're like, okay, they're looking at this, I have to mirror it from one side to the other. So this is Y and Z. So here's the green and here's the blue. So I mean the blue, or the blue is the Z. So I'm mirroring across that. It's when it's facing you, goes in depth. The green is the Y, goes up and down. So okay, but is it positive or negative? So if I go this way, that is in the negative. So if I go this way, that is in the positive. So I'm mirroring it from positive to negative, then I'm mirroring it from this side to this side, which is what I did. That's what I want to have happen. So go ahead and get rid of my tester there. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and hit, let's select this guy here. I go ahead and hit apply, right? So let's go ahead and see if that worked. Okay, so there we go. Head still works just good. Alright. Alright, so nothing seems to be broken. Everything's looking okay. Alright, influence is even. Okay. Go ahead and close this out. If you did happen to break your skin weights, you can try to undo it. Sometimes Maya doesn't like to let go that mirroring, and then you'll just want to open up that previous save we just did. So that was your safeguard pretty much. Okay. So from here you can also do copy skin weights. That will be what we'll want to do for the legs here. So we can, and sometimes the copy skin weights also works a little bit funny. So if it doesn't work for you, you'll have to kind of do the paint weights for the legs, but we can do copy skin weights. Okay. So select the subject, select the target, and hit apply. Okay, so it says copied one skin. Okay, so there we go. And as it goes back over on this side, you can see now that in this spot up here, the leg isn't pushing through the boots because it has the same weight that we put on the calf, so it mirrored that. It's perfect. Okay, so same thing with the chest though. All the weight that's in the chest is now in there here as well, so you won't see the undermesh coming through the chest piece here because it's got the same weight as the geometry below it. Okay, perfect. Okay, so the only part that's left for us to do is we're going to do the same thing with these guys. So I'm going to select this one, which is my subject, shift select the sleeve. I'm just going to go to skin, and I'll go to copy skin weights, and hit apply. Okay, do the same thing. And let's go over here again. So subject, target, apply. Okay. Alright, so there we go. all of our weight is distributed in here, we're ready to go. In the next lesson, we'll probably go ahead and start actually doing some animation. We'll start with a walk cycle, and then we'll probably go into doing some poses and jumps and some other fun things. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next lesson.